Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome back to Easy Mathematics. This week and this month, till we write our BECE, we'll be solving likely questions, BECE likely question, and also that of basic 7 and basic 8. Let's start today by solving one or two examples or questions that are likely to come in our BECE. So we take the first one. The first one is saying, change 307 base 8 to base 5 numerals. So now with this one, we've not talked about it in our previous video, but we'll try to look at it as well so that we'll get an idea of number bases. Now, if you look at the number 1 here, you have been given 307 in a base of 8, and you are changing the base 8 to base 5, and this is converting from a base to another base. Now, before we can change the base 8 to base 5, we have to first change the base 8 to a base 10 numeral or a decimal numeral. So how can I change the base 8 to base 10? Now, to change 3078 to base 10, we are going to multiply each of the digits that you have. You have 307. So you multiply each of the digits you have by the base. So that's the first thing you have to do. So this is the same as multiplying each of the digits by the base. We have 3 times 8 plus this times the base 0 times 8 plus 7 by the base, so 7 times 8. Now, after multiplying each digit by the base, we are going to power the base from the right of the base. We are only powering the base. So we are going to power the base from this direction, that is from your right to the left, starting from 0. So this is going to be powered to 0, this to 1, and this to 2. So this is going to give you 3 times the square of 8 is 64, plus 0 times 8 to the power 1 is the same as 8. Then plus 7 times 8 to the power 0. Any number written to the power 0 is 1, which we've explained this idea in powers of numbers in our previous videos. So now that you have powered the base and you simplified, you just multiply. So how do I multiply? Multiply each bracket, you add your result. So this is going to give me 3 by 64. What are we getting? 3, 4, 12. Remember 1, 6, 3, 18. So giving you 192. Plus, any number times 0 is 0. So plus 0. Plus 7 times 1 is 7. So we add this result, which is giving you 199. So in base, this is now 199 base 10. Now, under the number bases, a number without a base is in base 10. So now that we have been able to change the base 8 numeral to base 10, we are going to change this number into base 5. Now, for us to change to base 5, this is what we are going to do. We are going to divide the 199 by 5, and we will record the remainder. When it comes to number bases, we are much interested in the remainder. So here, after changing the base 8 to base 10, you can now change the base 10 to the required base. So we have to change this one to the base of what? Of base 5. But you cannot just change the base 8 to base 5. No. You have to first change the base 8 to base 10. And this is how you change any given base to base 10. By multiplying each of the digits by the base. Then you power the bases from your right to the left. So now we have this in base 10. Now let's convert this one into base 5. Now to do the converting, let's do it here because of space. To do the converting, we are changing this one to base 5. So therefore, we are going to do a division by recording the remainder. So we are changing this base 10 into base 5. So now we are going to ask ourselves, 5 will divide this number how many times? Now with the help of log division, we will be able to know. So the 5 will be out while the 199 will be in. So dividing this, we are going to say 5 3 is 15. Subtracting, you have 4. Dropping the 9 will give you 49. Now 5 times 9 is 45. 5 9 is 45. Now if you are to subtract, you are having 4. Sorry. Now with number bases, we are always interested in the remainder. So here we are going to say 5 will go into 199 39 times, and there will be a remainder of 4. So 5 going to this is 39 times, and the remainder is 4. Again, 5 can go into 39. So ask yourself, 5 will go into 39 how many times? 5 times 7 is 39. So 5 will go into 39 7 times. Remainder, 5 7 is 35, sorry. Leaving a remainder of 4. So here we are much interested in the what? In the remainder. Again, 5 can go into 7. So 5 will go into 7, 1. Remainder 2. Because 5 1 5. So 5 will go into 7 once. And there will be a remainder of what? Of 2. Now, since 5 cannot go into this number, we are done. We are going to pick our number from this very number. Or we can say 5 will go into 1 0. Then we just bring the 1 here. So once you have the remainder, we pick from the bottom to the top. So we are going to pick from 1, move to 2, move to 4, and this 4, which is now in base 5. So therefore, 3078 in base 5, starting from the very last one, is 1, 2, 4, 4, base 5. And that is how we convert from a different base to another base. That is for the final year students. So here, once you have to change to a different base, first change the given base. You have been given it in base 10, base 8. Change it to base 10. After changing it to base 10, then you change the base 10 to the required base using this format or this approach. And we are only interested in the remainder. Good. So that is the first one. Then we have the B. The B is saying, make C the subject of the relation. So you have B. The relation has been given as 1 over C1 is equal to 1 over C. This is C, sorry. So you have 1 over C is equal to 1 over C1 plus 1 over C2. So you have to make C the subject. Now this is a fraction, and you are making C the subject. Now before we can make C the subject, we have to clear the fraction. And how can you clear the fraction? Because there is an equal to sign, we have to know our LCM. And our LCM is by multiplying the denominators, which is C, C1, C2. So the LCM for this expression is C, C1, C2. So now we are coming to clear the fraction by multiplying each of the terms by the LCM. So we are going to say C, C1, C2 times 1 over C, which is equal to C, C1, C2 times 1 over C1 plus C, C1, C2 times 1 over C2. So multiplying each of the term by the LCM will help us to get rid of the fraction. So now C will cancel C, C1 will cancel the C1, and the C2 will cancel the C2. So what are we having now? We are having C1, C2 times 1, which is the same as C1, C2. Then C, C2 times 1, which is C, C2, plus C, C1 times 1, which is C, C1. So now here, you are having C, C1, C1, C2, C, C2, C, C1. And the question is, make C the subject. So when you are having the C, what are you going to do? We are going to factor the C out. So we have C1, C2, we have C bracket of C2 plus C1. So here we want to make C the subject. So divide by what is attached or close to C. So divide by C2 plus C1, divide by C2 plus C1. So this will cancel out this. Now we are having C is equal to this. So C1, C2 over C2 plus C1. So this is the C, making the C the subject. So now that you make C the subject, the person says, hence find C. Hence find C. Let's take a commercial break. We'll be back and we'll see how we can solve for the C. Thank you. Okay, welcome back from that commercial break. We had to take a break because of the drizzling. So now we are back. God has given us the opportunity to continue. So welcome back from that short break. So we're looking at how to make the C the subject. And we said that since you are having a fraction, you have to first clear the fraction by multiplying each term by the LCM. And anytime you are having variables as your denominators, multiply the variables to get the LCM. So we multiply C by C1 and C2 to get C, C1, C2. So now we are having three terms and our LCM is C, C1, C2. So we multiply each term by the LCM. Now once you do that, it will help you to get rid of the fraction by just cancelling out the common terms. So C can cancel the C here as it has been explained. After cancelling, you are having C, C1, C2 is equal to C, C2 plus C, C1. The question is, make C the subject. So we have to make sure that all the terms with C should be at one side of the equation. So you can see that even with this one, we are having the C at the right side. So there's no grouping of like terms. So we have C, C here. Therefore, we have to factor out the C, whereby factorization will come in here. So to factor out the C, we are left with C2 and C1. So we just put them in a bracket. The interest is to let the C stand alone. That is the subject. So for C to be alone, I have to detach everything that is attached to the C. And we are having the bracket attached to it. So you detach the bracket by dividing both sides by what it is. So now we have C to be C1, C2, all over C2 plus C1. Now when you continue, the question says, hence find C if I. So here you have been given a condition to solve for C. And you are saying C1 is 4 and C2 is 6. Now with this one, substitution comes in. That is under change of subject and substitution. Now the meaning of this is that in the expression that you have C is equal to C1, C2, all over C2 plus C1. What it means is that wherever you are seeing C1, substitute it with 4. And wherever you are seeing C2, substitute it with 6. So this is equal to C1, C2 means C1 times C2. And C1 is 4. So you are having 4 times 6, all out of. Then you have C1 again for the I, and this. So C2 is 6 plus C1, which is 4. So this is going to give you 4 times 6, because C1, C2 is C1 times C2. So 4 times 6 is giving you 24. Out of 6 plus 4, which is 10. So our answer is 2.4. Or you can write it in a mixed fraction by getting 2 whole number, 2 out of 5. So that is the substitution. That's the meaning of substitution. To substitute means to change. So wherever the C1 is, you replace it with the 4. Likewise, the C2. Then with the II. The II2, we are using the same condition. Given C is equal to C1, C2, all over C2 plus C1. But the II, they are saying that C1 is 7 and C2 is 5. So C1, C2 is C1 times C2. So you are having C1, 7 times 5, which is out of. C2 is 5 plus 7. So this is going to give you 35, because 5, 7 or 7, 5, 35. Divided by 5 plus 7 is giving you 12. Now, 35 over 12 is improper fraction. So you change it to mixed fraction, or you can change it to decimal. So here, I can say 12 will go into 35 2 times. And there will be a remainder of 11 out of 12. And this is 12, 2 whole number, 11 over 12. Now, let's try to know something here. With this type of question, the question has been asked, or you have been asked to make C the subject. So if you omit all these solutions and you just substitute the values, they will match the I and II for you. So if you are to be awarded for this side, that means you have dashed the examiner that scores. So we don't have to give them a chance to penalize us. If you are making it the subject, make it the subject. If you have not been asked to make it the subject, don't waste time. They will not, for that one, they are not going to mark it, because the question is not asking you to make it the subject. But you have made it the subject to make the calculation simple. But they will not mark making it the subject. But once you have to make the subject, don't skip. When you skip, you are going to lose the scores. And so this is how we do change of subject and also substitution. Now the number 2A is vectors, which is equality of vectors. Now the question is saying that if P is equal to 3, 2, that is a vector 3, 2, and the vector Q is equal to negative 1, 3, we have to find the value of R. Negative 1, negative 3. We have to find the value of R such that P minus Q plus 2R is equal to the vector 8, 1. So from here, you have to solve for R. So take the given expression. You have been given 2A. You have been given P minus Q plus 2R is equal to 8, 1. This is what you have been given. Now we are finding the value of R. And they've given us the vector for this. Likewise, the Q. So what have you been given for P? You have been given the vector as 3, 2. So we are going to substitute this as 3, 2. Then you have minus Q. And Q has been given as negative 1, negative 3. So you are having negative 1, negative 3. Plus 2R is equal to 8, 1. When you are writing vectors, you should know that vectors are not fractions. So you don't write 8 over 1 or 3 over 2. No. For vectors, we have more solutions in our previous videos. So you can visit and watch from the beginning to the end when it comes to vectors and inequality of vectors. So here, I'm to solve for r. Now, we can solve for these two vectors by just putting them in a big bracket like this, so that we can be able to simplify these two. Now, I'm having 3 minus negative 1. Now, when negative meets negative, it changes to positive. So this is going to be 3 plus 1, which is 4. This one also is going to change to positive, and that's going to give you 2 plus 3, which is 5. So now we are having plus 2r is equal to 8, 1. From here, we are going to make the 2r the subject, just like you solving for an equation. So making the 2r the subject, we are going to lift this vector to this side of the equation, which is going to give you 2r is equal to 8, 1 as a vector. Then this vector will also come here. But the sign in front of this vector happens to be positive. So it's going to change to negative 4, 5. Then you subtract. So you are getting 2r. You are getting 2r is equal to 8 minus 4 is giving you 4. 2r is equal to 4. Then 1 minus 5 is giving you negative 4 as well. So this is a vector. So we take the 2r for this and 2r also for this in order to solve for the vector r. Good. So now, equating this to this, we are going to get 2r is equal to 4. We need r, so divide by 2, divide by 2. So we have this as 1, because 2 will go into 4 one time. So r is equal to 1 for this one. Then we also equate the same 2r to this. So now we are getting 2r is equal to negative 4. Divide by 2, divide by 2. 2 here 1, 2 here negative 1. So r is equal to negative 2. Negative 2, negative 2. Good. So now finally, r as a vector is equal to 2, negative 2. And that is how you solve for an unknown in any equality of vectors. Once you have been given that if P is this, Q is this, find R such that, so once the preamble is given like this, then we can easily solve for it. Now you have P minus Q, which has been stated here. So this is the P as 3, 2. And you have the Q as negative 1, negative 3. So once you are subtracting, the signs meeting becomes positive. 3 plus 1 is 4. And this will give you 5. Grouping like terms is going to give you this. Subtracting 4 from 8 is 4. Subtracting 5 from 1 is negative 4. Then you divide to solve for R. So a question like this, if in case vectors should come, which of course 2023, there is no way you are going to miss vectors. If a question should come in this format, much is expected from us to make our teachers proud and parents as well. Then you have the last one, which says find the truth set and illustrate your answer on a number line. Now here you are having two answers in one question. You are finding the truth set and you have to illustrate it on a number line. So if you solve for x and you don't illustrate, you are wrong. And if you also don't state the truth set, you are also wrong. So first of all, look at the given equation, the given inequality. So you have 7x plus 4 less than 1 over 2 bracket of 4x plus 3. So here, this is what you have been given. 7x plus 4 happens to be less than 1 over 2 bracket of 4x plus 3. Now, looking at the inequality, there is a fraction, which is 1 over 2. Once there is a fraction, clear the fraction by multiplying the equation by the LCM. So the LCM happens to be the denominators, but you have only 2 as your denominator. So LCM is 2. So we are going to multiply each term, and there are 3 terms in the question. We have this as term 1, 2, and 3. So we are multiplying each by the LCM. So 2 times 7x plus 2 times 4, which is less than 2 times 1 over 2 bracket of 4x plus 3. So the denominator here will cancel out because we've multiplied by 2. Now what are we having? 2 times 7x is 14x plus 2 times 4 is 8 less than, now you are having 1. Once you cancel, you are having 1 times 1, which is 1 bracket of 4x plus 3. With this, what do? You clear the bracket. After fractions, we clear the bracket if there should be a bracket. So now we are having 14x plus 8 is less than 4x plus 3. Now this becomes an inequality with a variable on both sides. So if it is on both sides, you group like terms. So all those with a variable should be on one side, giving you 14x minus 4x, because the 4x will cross the sign, which is now 3, as this one also cross, minus 8, because this crossing will give you negative 8. Now subtract. Subtracting will give you 10x is less than also minus 5. We want x, not 10x. So divide by 10, divide by 10. Now 5 will go into each of 1 and go into 10 2 times. And now you are now having x to be less than negative half, or negative 1 over 2. Now we should also know that under the linear inequality, the sign changes when you divide through by a negative. But since we divided through by a positive value, the sign is still the same as it is. So we are now having x to be less than negative half. Remember, we are not done, because the question said find the truth set and illustrate on the number line. So now that you have your answer, you just find the truth set by just stating the answer. Saying, therefore, in a set notation form, the truth set is x is such that x is less than negative half. Then you close it. So if you are to find the truth set and you don't write this, you are wrong, because you are finding the truth set, and this is the truth set. Now you have to illustrate it on a number line. When it comes to the number line, we are much interested on what you had. You see that this is half. Now, is it negative or positive? Of course, it is negative. So on our number line, we know that we have positive and we have negative. So this can be 1, this can be 2, this can be negative 1, this can be negative 2. So negative half is between 0 and negative 1. That is half between 0 and negative 1. So we can indicate this side as half. So we now draw a circle at where the x is being referred to looking at the value is less than, which means like this. So stretching my left hand moves towards the left. So we just draw a circle, a line this side, then we write x is less than negative half. We only shade if it was less than or equal to. You only shade the ring if you have this. But if you are not having the equal to sign, you don't shade the ring. So this is how we have to solve inequality questions if in case a question like this should come in our final exams. Thank you very much. Today is the first time starting with the solution of BECE likely questions. We will meet again, God willing, Wednesday, and we will continue with the solution of BECE likely questions. The name is Christian. Please subscribe and share. See you next time. Bye-bye.